Welcome to the Friday Game Night Pick'em Show here on AccessWDUN.com. Bo Wilson alongside Jeff Hart, Caleb Hutchins, and Seth Chapman. What's up, fellas?
Did you forget who he was? Did you forget my name or something?
No.
That happens like once a week at least.
It does, at least
What, that
once.
everybody forgets who I am?
No, that he forgets something in the intro of a show.
Right.
Fair.
That's going to make for great audio.
We only have one microphone today because we are at Free Chapel, the basketball media days. We covered those, just ended. I know this is on a Friday show, but we have to tell you where we are. So we are here at Free Chapel for the Pick'em Show this week. Now, last week's winner was Seth Chapman.
Oh, yeah. Thank you very much.
What did he finish? 14-5.
14.
However, the better news is
15-4. You and I 14-5.
I extended my lead over Caleb back to 3 games. How do you feel about that, Caleb?
I feel great.
You feel like you can make a comeback, Caleb.
I mean,
How is the fourth?
yeah. I mean,
How do you feel about the fourth quarter here?
about the fourth quarter.
Yeah, you got a fourth quarter.
Well, it
charge
seems to me
coming.
like we're down to about the last play here because we're in the last week of the regular season. We'll go through the playoffs, though, won't we?
Of course we will. We'll go through the playoffs so week number 11. What were your takeaways, Jeff?
Week 11, Commerce. I'm going to say
You can hold the microphone.
Oh, there you go. I'm not going to say we buried the Tigers, but we were kind of like, well, after losing to Social Circle, you got Washington Wilkes, you got Lincoln County. We kind of figured their title hopes were pretty much dead in the water. And what just a game they had last week. Jaden Daniels did it again. I mean, that kid's almost at 1,300 yards and 6 starts and a few carries for the rest of the season and has put the Tigers on his back. I think that was the big takeaway for me. And, of course, Cherokee Bluff with the North Hall game. I mean, that was a tremendous game. So, and it really could have gone either way. So I think those are the 2 things that I took away from last week.
Yeah, two region titles in a row for a Cherokee Bluff program that's only in its 4th year of existence. That's pretty impressive. And when you look at how they won that game too, I mean, North Hall came out and hit them in the mouth early, 14-0. Boom. I mean, Cherokee Bluff hasn't been in that situation all year. Sure, Dawson County got a lead on them, but that was a low-scoring defensive football game. And Cherokee Bluff's defense had to make several key plays in that game. They had to get a goal line stand in the 3rd quarter to keep North Hall from going up by 10. They had to get the fumble return for a touchdown to finally give them their first lead. And then they had to stop Kevin Rochester, who had torched them for 250 yards and I think 3 touchdowns in that game. And they stopped him about 2 inches shy on a 2-point conversion play at the end of the game. Like Jeff said, it's just an incredible game there at the Brickyard last Friday night. And then, I mean, we had some other. Flowery Branch getting, I think, a little bit more of a test from Chestatee than maybe we thought. I think we thought that game would be competitive, but I don't know that we thought that would be a 3-point game with about 7 minutes left, which is what it was before David Renard ripped off a long touchdown run to put it away. Locked up a playoff spot for him. Flowery Branch, I think, especially defensively, is kind of starting to get right now. And I think we've also learned from what happened over in Jefferson that North Oconee defense that we all kind of panicked when Flowery Branch was held to 7 points, that North Oconee defense is pretty good.
I, on the sidelines of the North Hall Cherokee Bluff game, got so much crap for picking against North Hall so much crap. But and when they went up 14-0, I was like, oh no, I'm gonna have to write Seth's words on a piece of bread and then eat it on the show.
I didn't go to school there, so I don't have to deal with that kind of.
Yeah, that's the problem for me is I went to school at North Hall, so they expect me to root for them each and every time. But I did end up.
And they gave you the same grief.
Yeah, but I did end up winning the pick, so that was great for me. And in fact, I won the week, so I mean, it's pretty good.
You won the week.
Yeah, that's my takeaway from the whole thing. I won the week, and I'm happy with it.
Takeaway from the week: Braves are World Series champions.
Yes,
and that feels pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yes, even though Bo tried to ruin it by actually going to a game.
Yeah, you almost blew it.
You almost blew it because every time you went to a game, they
And
lost.
so did the other 46,000 people that were at that same game.
You hadn't gone. They had been there the whole time. You decided to go on a
Well,
run.
my takeaway from Week 11, obviously that Bluff North Hall game, just an incredible game. North Hall pretty much won in just about every facet of the game, statistical category of the game, except shooting themselves in the foot and on the scoreboard because of the fumble Also because of the two big penalties that extended that drive for Cherokee Bluff deep into North Hall's territory. And then obviously you're talking about not getting in on the 2-point try. So what a great game that was between two great teams. Also, you mentioned something that was very interesting about Chestatee. If you go back and look at the scoring summary of that game, Flowery Branch went up like 21-7, and then Chestatee comes back in the second half to cut it within 3. And then, of course, you said the David Renard long run. So interesting to watch those teams in 8-4A, and then, of course, Jefferson and North Oconee. We were both shocked by that score, but that's what happens.
Most surprising score of the night was that one. I think even more surprising than the Commerce Washington Wilkes score.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I love how you handed it to him, but
Yeah.
he still refused to take it.
I got my
Set
hands
it
in
in
my
the
coat pockets. Listen. The Braves did not. Spoiler alert: we taped this the day after the. No, you're good. Spoiler alert: we taped this the day after the Braves won the World Series, and I got about 2 hours of sleep last night, and so I'm running on fumes. So if I'm not the most observant, you'll have to forgive me.
Yeah, I hope you can last the rest of the show, make it home maybe.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's get to it so we can get Caleb to his nap time. All right.
Give him his juice and his nap.
Let's start with region championship possibility here, and really it is if Commerce wins. If Commerce beats Lincoln County, they win the region. Wow. That span in the season for Commerce where we thought, oh no, it's gone off the rails. They pull it right back on to the train tracks, and now here they are, upsetting Washington Wilkes, and now they go to play Lincoln County.
Yeah, this is going to be a tremendous game, and these are two old state foes. When you look at, they played some huge games in the playoffs down the road, in the past years. Now they're in the same region the last 2 seasons, and it's come down to this game both times. If Commerce wins, they're going to win the region. I mean, it's right there for them, and we didn't think that. Like 8 days ago, we didn't think that. They come off the loss to Social Circle. We scoured those stats, couldn't figure out how they lost, but somehow they lost the game. I did a big feature on Commerce, and talked to Coach Mark Hollers, and he was blunt. Turnovers, penalties, killing us. I mean, he said killing us, and he said once we kind of went back and corrected that, against Washington Wilkes, and they switched. The other big thing is they're not running the triple option. They're running the I-bone, the power I-bone. They got Drayla Martin as a fullback. They got the freshman Jaden Daniels as the tailback. I mean, we see he's got almost 1,300 yards and 6 starts. They're 5-1 since inserting him in the lineup. This is going to be a tremendous game. You got Trey. Another thing, you got Trey Huff, former Commerce quarterback from last year, is now quarterbacking the Red Devils, and he is having a tremendous season, and so that's really going to be the battle. I think both these offenses are really going to test the defenses, and so it's probably going to be down. I predict kind of a high-scoring game. I think it's going to come down to whoever can make a stop. I'm going to go with Commerce in this because I just like the way they're playing right now. I think they're hot. They've got the run game. The defense is really playing very, very well. I'm going to take the Tigers on the road in one of the toughest places to win in the state.
It is one of the toughest places to play in the state, and it's a place that Commerce has struggled historically over the years. They're 1-9 all time when playing at Lincoln County or at Lincolnton, and so this is going to be a tough one. And Commerce, they are definitely a vastly improved football team from what they were earlier in the year. Obviously, most of that has to do. I say most of that. A lot of that has to do with Jaden Daniels and what he's provided them in the running game. This is going to be a tough ball game, though. Washington Wilkes is not that much better than Lincoln County. That was an 8-point ball game earlier this year. I'm taking Lincoln County in this one. I think this is going to be I don't know that it'll necessarily be a high scoring game. I think you're looking at a 24-21 type of final score here. And I think Lincoln County by maybe 3 or 6. I just think if Commerce gets in a hole early against that crowd and against that defense, it's going to be tough for them to dig themselves out.
Deep inside my Chick-fil-A filled stomach, thank you to FCA for feeding us here.
Yes.
What a way to start.
Yes, deep inside my Chick-fil-A filled stomach, I'm really feeling this Commerce team. I'm really feeling this Tigers team, and I'm going Tigers for this one.
Well, Commerce has not been on the road since October 8th. They've had an off week, 2 home games, and now they face a trip to Lincoln County. Now, I know the region championship is on the line for Commerce, and then if Commerce loses, what does it look like? I mean, there's several different scenarios, right? So, with that in mind, though, Lincoln County, I believe, you travel to Lincoln County. If you've ever been down there, you know it's a brutal place to play. I'm going with Lincoln County in this one.
Trying to protect that 2-game lead he's got.
It's actually 3, but that works. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Notice that's why he went last.
Maybe you should have him pick first. every time.
Okay.
Let's do that. All right, you pick first.
All right. Next game on the docket here. North Hall traveling over to Dawson County for yet another battle for a home playoff berth. And wow, how important is this home playoff berth? Because even it's not going to be easy, regardless if you're a 2 seed. It's not going to be easy for a 1 seed for Cherokee Bluff because Region 5-3A is just incredibly stacked. And a lot of folks are looking at GAC's record and saying, well, they're 4th in the region. That region is really good. I mean, really good.
Cedar Grove. You've
Yeah.
got
Sandy Creek.
You've got Carver, Atlanta.
So
That's a gauntlet.
it is a gauntlet, and it doesn't matter who you play because they're all very good teams. So this game is very important for the reason that you get that team at your place, obviously. So first round playoff match with this one, you got North Hall, who's coming off just a brutal, heartbreaking, gut-wrenching loss to Cherokee Bluff. You've got Dawson County coming in off the win against Lumpkin County. I don't know how to pick this one. I really don't, because I will go first. I will go first. And I know every one of you is going to go opposite of what I picked this week.
Maybe not.
So North Hall loved me last week when I picked North Hall because, they come into the press box yelling about it and making fun of y'all and saying that I was the only one correct. They're going to hate me this week because I'm going to go with Dawson County in an upset over at Tiger Stadium in Dawsonville.
You and I were talking earlier in the station, in the office earlier this week about this game. It's going to be a matter. I think Holtzclaw is going to be definitely a key in that pass game of Dawson County's because I think we're in for a Cherokee Bluff North Hall type game part 2. I think we're in for another game just like that one. The only thing that I see is that in that game, Cherokee Bluff was able to score on those passes against North Hall. North Hall held them and stomped their run game pretty well and was able to, except for those a couple of runs that, Jaquan got out, but they were able to hold them pretty well. I think they're going to definitely hold the run of Dawson County. The problem is going to be Holtzclaw with that pass game. I'm on the same page as you. It's very difficult to pick this game, but in favor of not getting yelled at anymore, I'm going to go with North Hall on this one.
You set it up like you were going along with me.
Now we have schools influencing picks.
The alma maters are tough to pick against, aren't they, guys?
Is that legal? Can schools influence picks? Is that legal?
I don't think
I don't think you can make legal rules about it.
Hit me up. I'll get you my Venmo information. This is going to be a good ball game. It really is. I really, though, the more I think about this game, the more I think this plays into North Hall's hands a little bit, just because of the style of ball game that it's going to turn into. Neither team, I think, is going to score a bunch of points in this one. I think it's not going to be some 10-3, low-scoring affair, but I don't think you're going to see a real, 45-42 shootout here in Dawsonville. I think there's the two defenses that North Hall's defense is just flat out good. Dawson County's defense, I think, has gotten better, evidenced by how well they played against Cherokee Bluff on the road a couple of weeks ago, where literally just a couple of plays basically made the difference in that game, and they basically held Cherokee Bluff's offense to not a whole lot over the majority of that football game. Coming into this one, though, I think North Hall with the running game a little bit is going to be able to kind of wear Dawson down because they can, Cherokee Bluff's an I-formation running game. You know what they're going to do. They're going to put Jaquan Smith back there. They're going to put one of those other running backs back there in that I-formation. They're going to come straight at you. With North Hall, they might hit you in the A gap, the B gap, the C gap. They might run wide on you. They've got different ways to attack you a little bit. And Kevin Rochester, for every bit as much as we talked about Jaquan Smith, Kevin Rochester's incredible. And he's had an outstanding season. I think North Hall with the running game wears Dawson County down. I'm thinking probably in the neighborhood of 28-17, something like that is what I'm thinking. But I really like North Hall's defense. North Hall's defense had nothing to do with them losing that game Friday night to Cherokee Bluff. That is a really good unit.
I can't argue with anything you just said. I was at both those games, the Dawson County Bluff and the North Hall Bluff game. I I see it very similar the way I see this, kind of what you were talking about with the pass game. North Hall, kind of, they're Jeremiah T-Lander. That's the two. That's the two words I'm going to say. He was a beast. I haven't seen a defensive performance by a single guy, maybe since like A.J. Johnson all the way back at Gainesville, who absolutely dominated, or Derek Brown at Lanier, who could dominate a game from the defensive side of the ball. And T-Lander, he just blew up the Bluff offense most of the night, except for a few runs where he got caught inside, like on the big long run. They finally caught him on the inside and were able to break one. He was a beast. I think T-Lander is the difference in this. I think North Hall is going to win this game. I think they're going to I don't know that Dawson County's offense is as potent as Bluff's. And I like North Hall's defense, and I think they're going to wear them down with the run game. I think it's probably at least a two-score game. But, this has traditionally been a very, very close game. But I really like despite the loss last week, I like the way North Hall's playing.
It'll be intense early on. I don't think there's
I think it's going to be a great game.
Yeah, Jarrett Laddie and T-Lander. Against Bluff, it seemed like those two were around the ball every time.
They only had him listed for 11 tackles. I think he had 11 tackles in the first series. I mean, it was incredible.
All right, let's start the pick'em rundown. Seth, you have your helmets ready.
No. I thought we were going to run down the Buford-Dacula game.
Do you want to talk the Buford-Dacula game?
No, I thought you wanted to. We can skip it.
Buford.
Okay, there you go. All right, there you go.
And the rundown begins.
And the rundown begins. That's right. Banks County hosting Elbert County.
Who was that?
Elbert.
Elbert and who?
Banks.
Oh, okay, yeah, Elbert County.
Are you not paying attention to the show that you're co-hosting here?
I am not.
Elbert County.
Elbert.
Cherokee Bluff at White County.
Dramatic pause.
Yes. Now, this one was interesting last year.
Yeah, this one was really interesting last year. Cherokee Bluff came in 9-0, and White County went down there at the end of the year, knowing they were the 4 seed and knowing Bluff had the region title. Not only did they beat Cherokee Bluff, they hammered them. Was it 48-7? I'm trying to remember the exact score of the game. Doesn't really matter. It was something in that neighborhood. It was a blowout. Have to imagine Cherokee Bluff remembers that and does not want to repeat that, but they are playing with house money in this game. There's nothing, White County's locked into the 4 seed, Bluff's locked into the 1. There's nothing really to gain or lose for either side here. But I have to imagine Cherokee Bluff's going to want a little get back, and there's no J. Ben Haynes at quarterback this time for White County. I'm taking the Bears.
Bears.
I'm going to go in an upset. I'm going to say White County at home. No, they don't have J. Ben Haynes, but I tell you that offense is dynamic.
Oh, yeah.
With Silas Mulligan and that whole crew. I think that
Cannon's the best weapon in 7-3.
Absolutely, and I think White County. I think they have a little chip on their shoulder because they're locked into the 4 seed. They're going. We may be better than the 4 seed. They're at home. Just something tells me I think White County can pull the upset, so I'm going to go with the Warriors.
Deep in that Chick-fil-A field gut of yours?
Yes, sir. Deep down in there.
He had Cheetos, too. He's got Cheeto dust in there, too.
The Bears.
I don't know why. Just Cheeto dust.
Okay, East Hall at Flowery Branch. I'm going with the Falcons.
Falcons.
Falcons all the way around. Let's go East Jackson hosting Stevens County. I'm going with the Indians.
Stevens. I want East Jackson to win this game, man, but I'm taking Stevens County.
I agree with you. I think that East Jackson's best opportunity to get in the playoffs in many, many years is right here. But I've seen that Stevens County team. That is one of the most balanced teams in the area.
And 8-3A is brutal.
It is brutal. I think they can keep it close, but I think Stevens is going to win.
So you pick Stevens?
I did.
Well, I mean, you can take it from me. Yeah.
I know.
Okay. All right. So here is this was just the battle for, I guess, bragging rights and Gainesville's Class 7A finale, as they'll probably be dropping to 6A according to the numbers that were just released. Gainesville at North Forsyth over in Raider Valley. One win for the Red Elephants in this series. I think it's 1-6
Yeah,
all time.
not a pretty picture.
And their first win in the series came last season. What say you?
I'm going Gainesville on this one.
What's Gainesville's main struggles been down the stretch of this season? That's where you answer.
Oh, offense?
What is North Forsyth's most consistent unit been this year?
Defense?
I like the matchup for North Forsyth.
You know what? I hear you on that.
I love the
You wanna know
participation.
who the number one defense in 7-6 in region in Class 7A? In Class 7A was Denmark. Gainesville shoot up 400 and something yards offense on Denmark. I'm
Didn't
going with
get a whole
Gainesville.
lot of points on the board out of it, though. And
Well-
that's been the problem. They haven't been able to get in the end zone. as
Well,
much as they need to.
I'm going to go with the Red Elephants to finish strong.
Same.
So Gainesville. I'm going to go with North Forsyth in this one. This one over in Raider Valley. Both teams, as Caleb and I did the duet participation a while ago.
Nice.
About Gainesville, the offense. It was so good, wasn't it? Yeah. Yeah. So
Oscar-worthy
I'm just going to leave it at that. North Forsyth is my pick in that one. Okay. Hab Central in Shiloh. Shiloh rolling into Mount Airy. Can the Raiders finish strong, even though they're not going to be in the playoffs?
I think they can, but Shiloh's playing pretty well. They're already locked in as a number 3 seed in a very tough region. I think Shiloh's going to win this, but I think that the Raiders, who are a very young team.
You can hold the mic.
Can I?
Yeah.
Okay. The Raiders, who are a very young team, I think, are making a lot of strides. I think they're going to keep it close, but I think Shiloh's going to win.
Bo doesn't want to do anything today, so Seth, you do this with me now. Best defense in Region 8-6A was Buford. Do you know who the second best defense in 8-6A was?
Shiloh.
The Shiloh Generals. Shiloh wins.
I agree. Thanks for the duet.
Would you participate? No, I'm just kidding. I'm going with Shiloh. I'm going with Shiloh in this one. Jackson County at Appalachia. This one is a crucial game for playoff seeding. And you sound like you want to talk a lot about it.
I thought you were just fixing to hand it to me.
Yeah, here.
Oh, so I am going first on this one. This isn't right. Interesting. Appalachia leads this series 4-1 all time. But Jackson County won last year. I like the way Jackson County, they have a lot. Both teams, if Appalachia wins this game and gets some help, they can finish second in this region.
No, they don't need help. If they win, they are the number 2 seed in the region because they have the tiebreaker with Eastside.
As you say. And
Great participation.
yeah, there you go. And but Jackson County has a lot riding on this. If Jackson County loses, they're out. But if they win, all kinds of things could finish, third or fourth, and depending on some other things, they could actually finish second. So it is crazy stuff in that region. I like Jackson County. I like the way they're playing, but Appalachia's having their best season since like 2011 or something like that. So these are the 2 surprise teams in this entire region, and there's a lot riding on this. I'm going to go with Jackson County.
Yeah, the last time Appalachia was in this position, I was in high school playing against them in the old Region 8-5A back then. It's been a little bit, or 8-4A, I think it was, at any rate. No, this is an interesting one. Jackson County can make the playoffs if they lose, but they need for Loganville to beat Walnut Grove, and they need, I believe, for Greenbrier to beat East. Some stuff has to happen. It's not unthinkable, but it could happen. But they need to win this ball game. And Appalachia, from talking to Coach McWhorter earlier, he had spoken with Coach Lottie. Appalachia apparently had some quarantine issues early in the year. They lost some games early. They've been playing really, really well down the stretch. I think we've all been kind of wondering, when is Tony Lottie going to get that thing rolling over there at Appalachia? This looks like the year where they finally started to get some momentum. I'm taking Appalachia in this one.
I'm with Jeff, and I like the way this Jackson County team's been playing. I'm going Jackson County.
Well, I'm going Appalachia.
Okay.
Yeah, there's my pick. All right, guys, let's move on to Jefferson hosting Madison County, coming off that gut-wrenching, that's the second time I've said that on the show today, loss to North Oconee, losing the region championship. Honestly, Jefferson will probably take their frustrations out on Madison County. I'm going with Madison. Check that. Jefferson.
Roll the tape. Roll back that tape.
I'm going with Jefferson.
Okay.
Yeah.
Willy Wonka.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Jefferson. I think there's some issues at Jefferson that's going on. I'm kind of concerned. I figured they were a lock for the state title, and if they don't get some of their injured players back, this is not going to end the way that this season looked. A lot of promise. I think they're going to win this game, but I think this game's going to be closer than we think because Jefferson's defense is playing well, but right now they're just really struggling on offense.
There are definitely teams I think that could give Jefferson some fits with the injuries, and I agree with you. If they're going to win the state title, they're going to have to get healthier, but I don't think it's going to be a problem this week. I think they roll against Madison County.
Agreed. I agree with everything you were talking about. They're going to take their frustrations out on this poor team, and I'm going with Jefferson. I just would hate to be a team playing against a mad Jefferson team. I would hate to be that team.
Completely with that one. Okay, Lakeview at Providence Christian. Can Lakeview end the season on a high note? I have absolutely no idea what Providence Christian is. What do you got, Jeff, in your notes?
What have I got in my notes?
Have you done that one yet?
I have. I mean, Providence Christian's 1-8.
on that one yet?
Guys, it's
That's
just
done.
his,
Wow, it's a battle of
guys, it's just his screensaver.
Ophir
He doesn't have it.
teams in the
1-8.
region.
They're 1-8.
Okay, they're on the road. Providence Christian. I'll give Lakeview the upper hand here. Lakeview
I'm going with
gets
Lakeview.
this
I
one.
take Lakeview too.
Lakeview as well.
Lakeview all the way around.
Oh, yeah.
Lumpkin County at West Hall. Both teams are out of the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
The Indians have proven their offense has gotten better.
Yes.
Even though they didn't produce much on the scoreboard, they still had more yards than they started. Their offense has progressively gotten better. That's what I'm trying to say. So, this one's going to be interesting. Let's let Caleb start. Let's see what Caleb.
This game is all about the arrows for each team to me. These two teams I think are about even at this point, but Lumpkin County's arrow is pointing up. West Hall, from where they started this, from their expectations coming into the season to the way this season went, I know they got to win last week against Johnson, but the arrow overall has been down. I think Lumpkin County is much more excited about this ball game than West Hall is, and they're at home. I'm taking the Indians.
I don't know if there was a better sum up too.
Well, actually, they're at the hot gates.
Actually, yeah.
Oh, they're at the hockey.
They're at the hot gates. Does that change anything for you?
I'm really dumb, but I'm still taking Lumpkin County.
Which part of that are we supposed to disagree with? I got lost there. I'm going to just leave it there. I'm going to take West Hall. They're at home.
I'm going to take Lumpkin County.
West Hall has won 5 straight in this series.
I'm going to go with West Hall in this one.
I have a shot. I'm actually picking with both.
Towns County hosting Washington Wilkes. I will start. I think Washington Wilkes wins this one.
Agreed.
Yeah, I do too. I tell you, I'm really heartbroken for Towns County. They've had their best team in a dozen years, and they have tremendous talent
Definitely
on that team.
their best team since that 2017 playoff team.
Yeah, well, that team is good, but this team might be better than that 2017 team. But the fact that 8A is just so difficult.
Hopefully they can keep building on this.
I do
in the
too.
future.
So I really would like to see them finish strong. I just think Washington Wilkes has too much.
Here we go. Last pick of the day. Gilmer at Union County.
Take Union County.
I'm gonna take Union County.
I'm going to take Union as well.
All right. That's the pick 'em rundown, guys. Quickly, let's shut the show down with what we hope to see in Week 12.
What I would hope to see in Week 12 is I would love to see Chestatee be able to go on the road in Athens and knock off the Jaguars and throw 8-4A into a tizzy as far as playoffs. Because I think this Chestatee team is – I think they've earned a chance at the playoffs. And they got a tough place to play. Cedar Shoals has a lot of talent. But I would like to see that Chestatee team go over there and pull that off. I know we're not picking them because they're playing on Thursday. This doesn't come out till Friday. But that is one thing I would love to see. I would love to be in Lincolnton, but unfortunately you're not going to send me there. So
Well, I mean, if you want to go, you can go.
I would. Can I borrow your car? I'm just kidding. So I think that's the game I'm going to be paying the most attention to is that Commerce-Lincoln County game because I think it's going to be one of the best games in the state.
Minus the North Hall-Dawson County game, all my eyes are in Jackson County. How does Jefferson respond after that loss last week? Can Commerce win a region title at Lincoln County? And can Jackson County and East Jackson finally get back to the playoffs? That's where my eyes are.
I agree with that 100%. All eyes on Jackson County right now. You did say minus the Dawson County North Hall game. That I'll repeat it again. I think we're going to see that, Cherokee Bluff North Hall part 2. We're going to see these three teams have kind of just been hitting each other back and forth so far, and it's kind of been a back and forth thing, and I'm excited to see how that turns out.
Just glad I don't have to go in the Brickyard press box this week. So.
It's like, well, you're at home this time.
Yeah.
I guess here's the thing. You're at home and you made the good pick, and then I get to go in there. You'll be like, why didn't you pick us? And I'm like, well, I graduated there. And they're going to go, you're right. And then,
I know this game has really no meaning to it, but I'm interested to see the outcome of the Bluff White County game, just from the standpoint will Bluff lose again to White County after clinching the region championship? I don't think they will, obviously, because I picked Bluff, but that game's going to be interesting because that's not only an interesting game, but that's a huge momentum swing for them to go into the first round of the playoffs against a tough opponent, at home.
Well, it worked last year.
Yeah.
Did it. Caleb sent us some interesting stats on undefeated teams in Hall County. When was the last one?
Gainesville in 2009, I think.
So it's been
in
a
regular
while.
season.
It's tough to do. I mean, it's tough to do, and they saw that last year. That'll be interesting if they can pull that off.
And obviously want to see the outcome of that North Hall-Dawson game. And is Dacula good?
They're good.
They're good. I don't think they're good enough.
Is Dacula good enough? Because I remember last year it was 35-0 really quick. So
Buford's defense has not given up a point yet. They got 2. That was on the offensive safety.
That's
last
right.
week.
That's right.
And Dacula got shut out last week. Can Buford's defense go an entire region schedule and not give up a point?
Very intriguing.
I think they will.
Very intriguing. All right, guys, that's a wrap for this week. Check us out on the Twitter at Friday Game Night. That's at HartJJ22, at Hutch9473. I'm at the Bo Wilson. You can also keyword search us on Instagram and Facebook. Access WDU and Sports as Seth operates our Instagram page. Guys, enjoyed it from Free Chapel this week after the basketball media days. Enjoy week number 12 of high school football.